says, Rabbi Zino, King Achav. There was a king of Israel named King Achav. He was a wicked king of the 10 tribes of Israel. We know the 10 and the 2 tribes split. So therefore what? He was the wicked king. And the Navi says that Ben Hadad, the king of Aram, Goyim, they made a big army. Together with 32 other kings, he started to lead siege to King Achav's capital, which is Samaria, right? There's Judah and Samaria. So he was in charge of Samaria, Shomron. And they made this king of Aram, he made a huge army against him. They demanded that King Achav hand over his money, his wives, and his children. So King Achav said, just as you say, my lord, my king, I have no choice, a huge army against me. All that is mine is yours. But Ben Hadad was not satisfied. He says, what else do you want? I surrender to you. He says, I want everything precious in your eyes, the Pasuk says. So what does that mean? So can you imagine? Money, he took already. Women, wives, he took. Children, he took. He says, give me what's precious in your eyes. I don't want only this. What's more precious than this? What's more precious than all those 3 things? So the Midrash says, what did he give him? And he calmed down. He gave him the Torah scrolls. When Ben Hadad demanded these, King Achav was hesitant. He said, these are not mine. They belong to the elders. The elders is the Chachamim, the sages. The Navi continues. So he says, bring me who these belong to. So he brought the sages, he brought the elders, and he summoned them. And they said, what did they say? We do not consent. King Achav followed their advice. He said to Ben Hadad, Adkan, until here. I cannot do more. I cannot give you this. It's too much you're asking for. Ben Hadad said, there's not enough dust in Samaria to cover the feet of my soldiers. I have so many people. And what? He wasn't exaggerating. The prophet of Hashem said and told Achav, don't worry. Don't give in. We'll give you victory. Don't give in if you give in the Torah scrolls. So go into battle. How many people did he have with him? 230 youths and 7,000 men. King Achav listened and he went to war. King Aram ended up running away and Israel chased them, and the king of Israel went and gave them a severe blow. They had thousands upon thousands of soldiers and they won with a few thousand. How? Because he wasn't willing to give up the most precious thing, which is the Torah Kedosha. So the Midrash says, whoever listens to Chachamim will never stumble. Midrash says from here we learn. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers, they asked the Rabbi, what should we do? What should we do? We should go and give in? No. Torah, don't give in. Ibi, they're going to kill us. Don't worry about it. Hashem is with us. And he listened to the sages. Because he listened to the sages, from here became a rule. We learn a rule. If you listen to your sage, you will never stumble. You will not stumble. You will always have a zuchut because of you listening to the sages. So what? The Pasuk says, whenever you have a doubt, ask your father, ask your sages, and they will tell you. So today, we don't have prophets. So who do we have? We have the Gdolim, the great ones. And they always are a very important part of our lives. They are considered our heart and our eyes. The person has to know that your eyes see, your heart feels what the right thing to do is. Who is going to be that for us? The Gdolim, the person who studied Torah day and night. We know, they say, they used to ask, Rav Chaim Kanievsky, people used to go and ask him, Alav Shalom, every single thing, business, health, whatever it is, surgery, not surgery. They used to live and die by his word. And whatever he said, everybody treated like Ruach HaKodesh. Why? He studies Torah, studies Torah, studies Torah. The Torah is like speaking through his throat. The Shekhinah is speaking from his throat. And therefore a person has to find sages who are holy like that, who study Torah as much as they can. And whenever they give him advice, whether it be business, medicine, whether it be whatever part of your life, you should know it's the Torah inside of them that's speaking. It's the wisdom of the Torah. What's the difference between you and him? It's the fact that he studies Torah. So therefore, a person has to learn to go and have trust and realize you listen to the sages, you won't stumble. So now, the sages tell us, where can we find the Shekhinah today? So when we had the temple, we had the temple. When the people went to exile, the Shekhinah also went to exile. And that's what Mesilat Yesharim says today. The Shekhinah is by the Gdolim. The Shekhinah rests on the Torah scholars. They're like a sanctuary. They're like an altar because they are attached to Hashem. It says the Dav Kabo. You have to cleave to Hashem. How do you cleave to Hashem? Hashem is not a physical thing. So therefore, what does the sages say? Sages say when you stick to those who are like Hashem and those who study the most of Hashem's word, it's like you're cleaving to Hashem. Cleave to the Talmidei Chachamim. It says, Et Hashem Elokecha Tira. Rabbi Kiva learns, you shall fear Hashem your God. Et is always coming to including who? Talmidei Chachamim. So you see that in many ways they're very, very akin, very similar to HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself. So therefore, all of the Jewish people in all their history, there was one thing Hashem never let them empty from, and that is Torah sages. So they're not guided by elections. They're not politicians. They're not done by just because we see them as charismatic. It's because the Torah they study, because of the holiness they have inside themselves. It says in the Pasuk, Tzadik katamar ifrah, ke'erez balevanon yizgeh. Right? A tzaddik will flourish like a date palm, like a cedar in Lebanon. What is a gadol supposed to look like? His head and shoulders is supposed to be above everybody else in Torah and Yirat Shamayim. The Gemara says, if your rabbi looks like an angel, to you, this rabbi, look, I don't know how he does it. Kodesh Kodeshia, I never caught him lying. I never caught him saying something crooked. I never caught him do something asur. He's like an angel. He doesn't make mistakes. He knows so much Torah. Look how refined he is, class he has. Such a person, learn from him. Person, he seems like this, and he's lying to you here, and he speaks dirty over there, and he goes and you wonder who gave him permission to do that. So what? He's not Malach Tzavot Hashem. He doesn't look like an angel to you. Don't learn from him, the Gemara says. Go find someone else. We see from this Gemara, not every rabbi is going to be Kodesh Kodeshim. Oh, but this rabbi is this rabbi that. Rabbi, I got a Chilul Hashem, I got burnt from him, burnt from here. Listen, just because you got burnt one time doesn't mean all the apples are rotten. You go to a jeweler, you go to a doctor, you go to a lawyer. Not always you find the best one. Okay? So there always is. Just like in everything, there is some and there is some. You gotta find the right one, stick to him. But once you stick to him, don't be chili-billy, I stick to him, I don't stick to him. Like one time somebody said, yeah. I listen to the rabbi up to a certain point. Then I take over and I find a different rabbi when it's comfortable for me. Rabbi Noah. No, mapitom. You go ba'eshu b'mayim. You ask. You have to find a rabbi who knows laws of Nidah, laws of Shabbat, laws of Kashrut, laws of Chagim, everything under the sun. You ask him all your questions for Ashkafa, for outlook, for everything. And there's no picking and choosing. You make for yourself a rabbi and get away from all doubt. But everything, don't pick and choose what you listen to him. You have to listen to accept everything. If you don't accept everything he does, so it's not called cleaving to Hashem. It's not called cleaving to the Talmidei Chacham. It's not called cleaving to the Shekhinah. Has v'shalom. And again, you think you're right, he's wrong. You should know whoever listens to the Chachamim will never stumble. Baruch Adonai Olam.